Yo, what's going on, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know what it is. This is your buddy Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song of the Day, Rock 2000 to today. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Today is Tuesday, February 18th of 2020. I got perfect vision. So I got a great show for you guys today. We've got one hell of an interview with a band that we will start out with, and then I got some other stuff for you guys right afterwards. But before we get into all that, let me go with the shameless plugs. So if I had any advertising for the podcast, this is where it would be. But because I don't, we're just going to plug our own stuff. So please follow us on all our social media pages: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So Facebook, anytime anything gets released from the Song of the Day feature, podcast, YouTube videos, it's going to be there. Twitter, same thing, except it's very easy to talk to us on those platforms. Instagram is our biggest platform where you can find all that stuff as well. You can be a part of our Instagram live streams every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central. I will be wearing Ice 9 Kills shirts until the members of Ice 9 Kills join the live stream, and we're getting on that. So that is going to be very, very fun. Also, we have our, what was I going to say? IGTV videos every single Tuesday at around like 8 p.m.-ish. I put them out there. But it's basically like a behind-the-scenes look at what we're doing here at My Song of the Day, Rock 2000 Day. So follow us on there, TikTok. We just do some fun stuff. Subscribe to our YouTube channel because you're going to be able to watch the podcast videos on YouTube as well as our album reviews, band reviews, anything fun we put on YouTube as well, with videos coming out every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. Also, enable our Amazon Alexa skill, because that's where you can hear the whole entire Song of the Day feature. It's a great way to get back into rock and metal music or discover more rock and metal music, like rediscovering all those bands you used to love and listening to them even more and falling in love with them once again. Falling in love with all these new bands that are going to be out there as well. And also with our Small Band Saturday feature, this is where you can listen to all these bands basically that are going to be the band tomorrow. And I absolutely love it. We've been doing it since June, and it's going to be continuing on throughout the rest of 2020 and forever and beyond. So that's for that. Links for everything in the description below. And then for the Chord Progression Podcast here, you can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and watch the videos on YouTube. But now, time for my featured presentation. Featured presentation, Kevin. Oh, yeah. So we've had this band as a feature on Small Band Saturday on, I believe it was the last Saturday of November in 2019, with their song called Anthem. These guys, I got to tell you, they've had quite a history from the beginning of the band in 2013, 2014. They've been on some kind of a tear with new music, coming out with stuff, and they've toured with some of the biggest bands in the world, including The Word Alive, Escape the Fate, and Ice 9 Kills. So I'm happy to be talking to these guys. I got to talk to lead singer Chris and lead guitarist Giann of one of the biggest bands as of 2021, because I know these guys are going to make it big. So get ready. Listen to our interview with Zoume. Get ready, cuz let's go! What is up, guys, from Zoume? How's it going? How you guys doing today?
What's poppin', man? I'm doing great, bro. Fucking cold as fuck. It's Brick City, New York City, but feeling great right now.
Yeah, I can see your breath when you guys are speaking. So, do you guys not have heat or anything?
No, we're like in our RV right now, actually. Yeah, and we don't want to turn it on, and it's like not running necessarily all the way. So we're kind of just in here right now, chilling. Literally.
Yeah, literally chilling. Okay, so let's start out with this, just so everyone gets to know the guys of Zoume. What I want you guys to do is quickly introduce yourselves, let me know who you are and what you do in the band, and then we'll take it from there.
Yes, sir. So everyone watching, I'm Chris, singer of Zoume. Been there since the beginning of the band. Formed the band back in 2013, late 2013. And yeah, this is our new guitarist right here.
What's up, guys? I'm Giann. I'm the new lead guitarist. Been here like a very short time, but
he's making his shit worth it right now. Giann's he's doing amazing, and it's pretty much like a whole new Zoume at this point, but we're still the same one, so it's like a new version of us.
That is awesome. And just so everyone else in the podcast gets to know, we had him featured on our Small Band Saturday feature back at the end of November. And I got to say, you guys had one of the better receptions from our fans, from what I saw, from the DMs that we got to some of the comments and overall viewership of the little 30-second preview, as well as our full song listing on our Amazon Alexa skill. So I was pretty psyched about that.
Man, that's freaking awesome, bro. Like, I'm so glad that everybody like sees that we're just a diverse band. You know, we could really gravitate towards like any audience. So, like, that means a lot to me. The fact that your station, your fans actually gravitate towards us, because that's like, damn, like I feel like we're that band that can really gravitate towards any fan out there of any music.
Oh, hell yeah, because we've got fans from like all different walks of like between rock and metal. I mean, just because that's kind of what we go for, but between, you know, different genres and subgenres like hard rock, metalcore, just heavy metal, some thrash metal guys in there, punk rockers, even some alt rockers in there. A lot of people went for your stuff.
Bro, that's so fucking lit to hear, bro. That's amazing. That's exactly what we want.
Yeah.
All right, so I got to start out at the beginning because, Chris, you said you've been there from the beginning. So what was basically the inspiration behind creating Zoume and your musical journey, kind of getting to the point where, like, you know what, I want to create a band, I want to start a band, this is what I want to do with my life?
Man, that's a freaking awesome question. Like, I've been wanting to answer that for a long time. Yeah, man, I started the journey like just wanting to do music when like guitar rock band came out, and just doing those vocal covers when they had like Asking Alexandria songs on Rock Band, being like 12 or 13 years old. And since then I would just like cut class and just want to scream all day, and stay home and just pretty much practice on my, you know, my craft every single day, bro, for like all throughout high school pretty much. And right around the 10th grade, I dropped out of high school, just like not wanting to do the school thing anymore, and just wanted to get a job and get my GED and all that. So pretty much ended up doing that. And when I was 17, I started Zoume. I was like, hey man, like just everything in life just goes into like needing to do music, you know, just literally using my emotions in real life, going through, you know, difficult things in life and putting it into music. Because that was the number one thing I did growing up, was going to concerts too. I would see bands like announce tours, and back in 2011, I saw Asking Alexandria live. It was it was November 11th, 2011, 11/11/11.
Oh,
and
nice.
That was the first show. Yeah, the show was called the tour was called World War III, and that was Asking Alexandria, Drugs, We Came as Romans, and Hollywood Undead. It was crazy.
Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Just hearing Asking Alexandria, We Came as Romans, and then Hollywood Undead on there, especially with the fact that Hollywood Undead just came out with a new album, and I actually get to go see him again in May, so hell yeah. And I get to see We Came as Romans in April, so I'm super excited about that, but it's just like, holy shit. So was that like the show that made you think, you know what, fuck high school, fuck this shit, I'm gonna double down and be a musician?
Bro, like, I feel like it was definitely the first one that really hit, but the one that made me actually like, okay, I'm doing it for real, was a few months afterwards. It was actually, no, it was that same month. It was November 28th, 2011. And oh no, it was actually the year after that. Never mind. And I saw Motion Mr. White. Play at Gramercy Theater. It was the Fruitless Friends tour. Yeah, it was the Fruitless Friends tour. It was Dumb, The World Alive, Best of All, and Tonight Alive, I believe. And I went to that and I was like, yo, this is it. Because they dropped Immaculate Misconception at the time, the video, and it just blew them up as a band. And I was like, oh man, fucking Chris Motion could do it. I could do it too, you know? Like that kind of thing.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I've seen Motionless White, I think, twice. One time I cut my eye during their show because, you know, the mosh pit can be relentless, but that's the way it's supposed to be. So I definitely get the connection on that end as well. And I love the fact that, you know, you're going to hear a lot of people say, oh, go to high school, graduate, go to college and that shit. But one person I always listen to is, he's like a big social media guy, and he's a big entrepreneur. His name's Gary Vaynerchuk. He always talks about just kind of like, if you have a passion, double down on it, double down your strength. And it's just like, don't let anything else stand in your way. Even if it's like, if someone's saying, you know, go to school, go do this. But if you're really passionate about it and you think, you know, I can definitely make this happen, just go for it. Who gives a shit?
Exactly, man. Like you live your own life. You know, you can't go based off what anybody else wants. And that's definitely like the first thing I told myself in starting this music thing. I was like, yo, like it's only you telling you what you gotta do right now. And as long as my parents are okay, like it's my life, you know, like I can do anything I want, and like I'm gonna go for it. So yeah, that's definitely like a big thing for me, man. And I was never like encouraging dropping out of school for other people. Like for me, it was more like going to like a really bad high school in Brooklyn, and not having like a system that cares. And like I really feel like the school system failed me in my situation. So everybody around me, like I tried to go to high schools after that and didn't work out, man. So I just really had to go through that getting GED process of it. And I went to college right after that. And for me, it's like I had a hard time trying to put myself out the box to stop going to school, stop caring about what my parents told me to say, and just follow my dream all the way. Because I dropped out of college as well. So I'm kind of on that path now where it's like it's what makes you happy in the end. Like what makes you happy, and just do what you want to do. Because I was there where, you know, trying to like make somebody else, you know, please their desires, you know.
Oh, hell yeah, guys. Absolutely love that, especially from you, Chris, just because you can't please everybody. And plus, you only get one shot at life. I think it's like you have like a 400 trillion one chance of becoming human. And if you get that chance, you got to go for it. You got to make sure that happiness stays. I got to go over to Giann on this one because I know he's the most like recent member of the band, hasn't spent very long time in the band. But I got to know, Giann, what, similar to Chris, like what was your journey to kind of, you know, saying, I want to make music for a living. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to go for. And if anyone's going to stand in my way, well, fuck them. I'm doing it.
All right. So this goes back a long time, around Chris's like age where he started, probably even before, like around 10. You know, I started picking up the guitar. I'm like, yo, this is pretty sick. I had it as a side hobby. And, you know, after a while, I started like really liking it more and more. But growing up under strict parents isn't really easy. So my dad wanted me to be an engineer, and same for my mom. They wanted me to get a high-class job and shit like that. I'm like, bro, do I really want this for myself? You know, looking at the guitar, and I'm just like, I want this for myself. So that's where I started saying, fuck everybody, fuck everything. I had an after-school program, which is mad strict. I kept skipping that shit and going to the Guitar Center just to play for like 3 hours until like 7 p.m., then getting home late and getting screamed at.
He was that kid at Guitar Center all the time. That's like
the employees know me. Like the employees that know me at this point, because I was that kid who would always just like go around seeing what guitars sound good, what doesn't sound good, you know, practicing. My influences like come from a lot of 80s and 90s thrash metal, and slowly I started getting into more modern stuff such as metalcore and deathcore. Mostly deathcore with that chugging stuff. And yeah, those are basically my roots, and that's what got me here today. I remember I was in like really bad bands. I was like in those really shitty local bands.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
With like shitty members, you know, I can't come Thursday because my mom told me I have to do my chores, shit like that. You know,
like you're gonna be like that kid that you know, that teenager that just you had to disobey sometimes your parents, like to do what you want to do. It's crazy to say, but like sometimes you need to do that, you know.
Yeah. And I found Chris. I met Chris. I'm like, yo, shit, he has a vision. I want to be part of it. And you know, we started out with a bunch of people, practiced like hell, and you know, literally survival of the fittest, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. And even when you listen to like some other bands talk about some of this stuff as well, they go through a lot of the same things. I'm not talking the smaller bands. I'm talking some of these biggest bands on the national and world stage, where they start out with lineups that are, you know, it's just a couple of guys I went to high school with, or, you know, met in the neighborhood or something. And then as time evolves, it's people leave, people go. There's always seems to be one consistent member throughout the whole entire thing. But it seems like from what I'm hearing from you guys are really starting to form that consistent core that's going to be together for many, many years.
Exactly. Yeah. With the whole rebrand of the, cause like Zoume went through a whole lineup change. We were the same band from 2014 till 2019. And, when things last year went to a whole different lineup, we had to rebrand ourselves, you know, and, in a way, like I still kept the same energy, the same mystique, but we had to rebrand ourselves, you know. So like I definitely had like starting this band twice, like what it is really, what it feels like.
Yeah, and I was even taking a look at some of the stuff too that you guys have done or that you did back when, you know, that between that 2014, 2019 period, and took a look at some of the bands that you ended up kind of necessarily working with and opening for. And I was looking at a list of some of them that I could find. And I got to say, looking through some of these bands, I was like, holy shit. How did you open for some of these bands? This is awesome.
Bro, fuck, man. Yeah, that's like part of it. That's like the big thing with Zoume. Like, we got the opportunity so many times to like be part of bigger things that, you know, I wanted to do when I was like 13, 14, 15. And like, what was my initial goals? Like, we got to play Main Stage World Tour in 2017. That was like a big one for us. We got to, open up for the World Live on their New York City and PA dates and like, you know, stuff like that. And it just very humbling, and like it puts me there where it's like, man, as a local band that has no, you know, I'm just like a kid from like Brooklyn, like I don't have like money for like, you know, to pay people to do things for me or like anything like that. I just kind of finding out, having no manager ever in our history, getting this opportunity just feels really cool for me. It's wild. I feel like I'm meant to do it, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the fact that because I remember looking up you guys right when we started doing the Small Band Saturday thing and you sent me your stuff. I'm like, wait, this band was actually on Warped Tour. Wait, I was like, wait, what? This, and they want to be on my platform. This is awesome. I was stoked. And then taking a look at some of the bands you opened for, when you said The Word Alive, I was just like, I can't believe they actually opened for The Word Alive for a couple of shows, especially given the fact that The Word Alive's coming out with their new album on the 21st of February.
Oh, yeah.
Lucky enough for me, I get to go see them the following night, play live with Escape the Fate and Fall in Reverse. I'm just like, hell yeah!
Man, you're so lucky. You got that tour, man. I want to go to that, man. But it's sold down New York City, you know.
I mean, did they skip New York City? I mean, I don't think they would, but
no, it just sold out so fast. You know?
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, find a way to sneak in or something.
You already know I'm paying for that $100 ticket when I find them on StubHub. You know.
Yeah, I think for mine I paid like $29 only.
You blessed, man. You're freaking blessed. You blessed yourself.
And that's the beauty of, you know, living in the Midwest where everything's not nearly as expensive, I guess.
Oh man, yes.
So,
I love the Midwest. You know, like it's awesome. Like in so many ways. Like we played there a good amount of times, man. Like where do you live exactly in the Midwest?
I live in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, so awesome. We play in Ohio, like close to Ohio, that whole area, I think. But not necessarily hit Milwaukee, but hopefully we hit that city soon, bro. Like we're going on tour very soon as well.
We'll talk about that in a little bit, but if you ever hit Milwaukee or like Madison, Wisconsin, just because I know that's where I'm seeing The Word Alive, Escape the Fate, Falling in Reverse. If you ever go there, I mean, that's an hour away from me. Or if you go to Chicago, that's an hour and a half away from me. It's not that hard to get there. Because I'm going to Chicago in a month to actually see one of the bands that we've been working with as well. So I'm just like, now this is going to be awesome. And then I've even done a couple of trips up to Minneapolis as well, just because I went to school up there. So I've got a good amount of friends up there. We go see shows a couple of times, have a good time with it. But I kind of want to go, before we go into like, you know, with you guys doing another tour and whatnot and seeing where you're going, what kind of music you're going to be going out with that, if you're coming out with anything new. Kind of want to talk to you about what you've when you toured so far, because seeing that you've played with bands like The Word Alive, I think I saw that you played with bands like Escape the Fate as well.
Yeah, man, that was actually like a dream come true for me, like opening up for them. Like insane, bro. That was like the first actual national band, like international band that we got to play for, open up for. And it happened back in I think it was 2015, late 2015. And that's like my favorite band of all time growing up. During that whole phase with me, you know, and like I love that band to death. And yeah, it was just sick opening up for them, bro. And like their fans, they were like great to us. And yeah, and that was like the year that we dropped like our biggest anthem so far, a song called Sleep. And people were like loving that shit, and it was just great, man. Like everything just fell into place in that time. It was so awesome.
Yeah, I think I saw you guys also opened up for might have been because of the Warped Tour, but did you guys open up for Ice Nine Kills at one point?
Yeah. Oh, bro. Yeah. Fuck.
Oh, you lucky son of a bitch. Especially because I've got my Donald Duck Ice Nine Kills shirt on just for this because I thought it was hilarious.
Bro, that's fucking awesome. They make fucking awesome merch. I would have never thought that's like Ice Nine Kills.
Well, it was that whole entire thing with the Disney thing where they were on that tour with Falling in Reverse, and then Disney House of Blues decided that they were too scary for children and weren't going to let them play. And all of a sudden they kind of like came up with a couple of different t-shirts with like Mickey as Freddy Krueger, Donald Duck about to be eaten by it, and then they had Goofy as Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm just like, these guys have the best fucking merch. I can't help it. It's like every time I see something, I'm like, God damn it. Okay, take my money. Just take it.
Bro, they're so fucking creative. Shout out to Ice Nine Kills, yo. They're definitely like a band that I saw them go from like smaller to like Ice Nine Kills, you know, and like they're doing massive right now. So happy for them.
Yeah, so I pretty much started listening like right around. I found out about them like with that whole entire Disney thing, but then I didn't start listening to it right before I saw them live, right around Halloween this year or last year. And after that, I'm just like, how the hell did I never hear these guys? And why can I not stop listening to them? It's been 3.5 months since I saw them live, and I haven't stopped listening. Still, it just keeps consistent.
Their new music's amazing. I'm like literally fucking sick. I definitely want to go on tour with a band like that again, or just like go on tour with that band in general. Opening up for them in 2017, it was crazy that year as well. Like every year from 2015, 16, 17, it got crazier for us. So in 2017, we had played Webster Hall in September, and it was crazy, bro. It was Atlanta on 9/11. It was like a sold out. Like we wasn't even headlining. We were playing second, but it was like a sold out. It was a whole show, and a month later we opened up for Ice Nine Kills at the same venue, and it was sold out as well. And it was just insane, bro. Like just back to back, like playing the same venue sold out. Like, so it was just a very crazy time. And I was like, wow, this is actually like, my band is actually like making moves right now. Because when you're in it, bro, like you're dead ass, like you never see what's happening. Like you kind of just need to keep going, and not kind of like wait and stop and be like, oh my God, it's like things are happening. That's one thing I noticed. But yeah, after that show was amazing, and that it was like 2017 was an insane year for us. That's like also the first time we went on tour.
I'll say, is touring with Ice Nine Kills like your favorite tour story of all time, or do you have some insane tour story that you haven't told me yet that it's just like you're gonna tell me it and I'm just gonna start either like going like, how the hell is that possible, or just start laughing my ass off?
Bro, all right, so this one keeps sticking out to me, yo.
All right, here we go.
So it's kind of like a weird one. It's like aggressive, or it's just fucked up. So when we opened up for the Word Live in PA. This is like, I forgot which venue it was, but it was in PA. This is like late 2017. They were on tour with Volumes. And I'm a big fan of Volumes. Like, like I'm big into that band. And shit, man, our band was parked right here. Their band was parked right next to ours. And I was like, shit, that's Volumes. And like, they had like a dirty ass fucking van, yo. Shout out to Volumes. RIP to bro, the guitarist. But yeah, like they had like their van next to us parked, and it was filled with fucking garbage, man. And I remember coming back to the van when we had left, going back, and they stuffed all their garbage from their van and put it underneath ours. So when we drove off, they had like all their garbage. So I was like, bro, this just fucking happened to me, bro. Like I'm from Brooklyn, bro. So I was like, they did not. I was like so freaking mad. But I was like, wait, this is like one of my favorite bands though too. I was like, bro. And then so me and my drummer wanted to go there so bad, beat their ass, but I was like, bro, we still haven't played yet. We still haven't played, so we start problems right now. Like so many things are gonna happen, man. So we just have to solve our pride during that moment and just be like, oh, well, that just happened. They punked us.
That might also have been kind of a thing, like a little bit of somewhat of a hazing kind of thing, like, hey, welcome to the big time. We're gonna basically throw all our trash under your van and see what happens. And you guys took it in stride.
Most definitely, bro. And we had a lot of those stories, man. Even with a band called Burial. Shout out to Burial. They're amazing. We had a show when we started out during the same time, and we had a show in New Jersey. It was a house show, and we were like locals, and we had brought out so many people, and this band Burial was headlining, and they're like this big band in that scene, and they were like, we was hearing like, yo, they didn't want us to play the show, but one of their friends got us on the show, and yeah, we just heard so much stuff from them. We're like, we don't want Zoume to be on the show, but we still ended up playing that same house show that they were headlining. It was just like those. I had so many of those stories, bro, where like bands feel so like they had like this hate thing towards like certain bands that they don't fuck with only because of the way they look or their certain sound, Like I have a lot of those stories. I don't have too many sad ones, but I have very aggressive ones,
Yeah, and I mean that's it could be any time in any scope of life where there's gonna be people out there where they might just not like you just for some incredible trivial reason. I mean, they may not like you for a reason that might be warranted, but it's just something that you just got to be dealt with. And there have been plenty of bands over the course of ever since music existed that people or other bands have just absolutely like didn't like, hated. There's always been rivalries there, but then again, it's usually because like, okay, one, like they're both on big platforms, big stages, and it's just, oh, maybe they're just jockeying for position, who knows. And then always, of course, like you look at like years down the line, all of a sudden they're like, oh, that was, we were stupid kind of thing, whatever. And it's always like bury the hatchet at that point.
Exactly, man. That's exactly what it is. So I try to stay a good sport about it in the end and just be like, yo, those stories actually are funny to me in a sense. Well, it's just like,
especially looking back at them, and then you can kind of bring them up and be like, now this was something I thought was hilarious. This was fun, and I'm just gonna enjoy it now.
Exactly, man. Exactly what it is. Yeah, and just in general now, I'm just happy that we had those stories to even talk about. But those are like a lot of the stuff that happened to us, man, during those moments. We had a lot of fun in general doing what we did during that time frame.
Yeah. All right. Giann, I'm going to go over to you because I know you haven't been with the band nearly as long as Chris has, being the I'm not sure, the quintessential member of the band because he's the one that started it. But since you've been with the band, have you have any crazy like show or tour stories that you can share?
Okay, so last show we had, there was like a raging mosh pit, dude. You have no idea. The entire room was full.
Okay,
Yeah.
so why wasn't I there, and why wasn't I throwing people around?
Should have been there, man. Brooklyn. It's popping for Zoume in Brooklyn right now. We're playing a lot of shows here.
Yeah, so it was going crazy. You know, people were slamming into each other virtually, and we were playing the end of the song we have called Diablo. And me and the other guitarist, and Chris included, both jumped into the fucking mosh pit during the end.
Yeah.
And started moshing with other people while playing. Like, and I remember like dropping my pick, but I didn't give a fuck. I just kept playing, bro.
It's just being in the mosh pit, straight up.
Yeah, straight up, just being
while
in the mosh pit.
performing.
I've seen a couple other bands do that where members of the band will jump into the crowd and basically into the pit and start playing. I've seen, I can't remember his name, but the bassist for Atreyu, I've seen him do that live. I saw Chris number 2, the bassist for Anti-Flag. He did it when I was at that show, and it was insane. They even brought the drummer. They brought like a makeshift kit, and they put it in the middle of the pit. We did a circle pit around the drummer. And Chris was like into some completely different other part of this crowd just playing. I'm just like, now this is what I'm fucking talking about.
That's fucking crazy. That's like, hell yeah. They're hardcore as shit. They're legends.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've listened to their album that came out at the beginning of the year with 2020 Vision, and I listened like, holy crap. This is everything I wanted from them in punk rock in 2020. Like Anti-Flag freaking delivered. And I was just like, yeah.
Bro, based off your reaction, I'm gonna check that shit out tonight. Literally. It's
classic Anti-Flag punk rock. They go after everything current establishment. They go after a bunch of different, political messages. And there's one song that I think that's going to be kind of like not a lot of people really care for. I think you call it, God, what's it called? And I should know, it's like A Nation Sleeps or something. They just go insanely hard on it. And I'm just like, you know what? This is what I wanted from them, and I got it. Yeah, it's called The Nation Sleeps. I had to quickly pull it up.
I'm gonna check that out, bro. That's such a satisfying feeling when like your band, one of your favorite bands, like release an album that you wanted. Like it's like hella satisfying.
Yeah, because all of a sudden I'm listening, I'm like, holy shit, these guys just don't relent. And they do a couple other things too, where they have a song that has like more of a real like country vibe to it, but given the meaning of the song, it really works out. Then they've got a song they have more of they bring in the horns and they have more of a ska feel to them. Like, oh, yay!
Oh, I see, bro. I see. I'm gonna check that shit out. That's crazy. That's funny.
Well, a couple other questions for you guys before, because I know you guys have our time crunch here, so I want to make sure we get everything in and everything good to go. So you spoke about, especially because now we're into 2020, we're about a month and a half in, I would say. Yeah, I think we're about a month and a half in. So when it comes to Zoume, what are you guys planning for 2020 with like going out, touring, any new music? What you guys got planned?
Damn, man. We have a lot, man. We have a lot.
Yeah.
All right, let me hear it.
Packed as fuck, man.
The first thing, we wrote the album, Zoume's first album. Like after releasing 3-4 EPs, man, like it's time we actually give the fans like what they wanted, and that's our album. And bro, we had so many songs. Now we're waiting on a couple more to come in, and it's go time. So the Zoume album this year, and that comes with touring. So plans to go on tour, actually do like a little weekend run this month coming up. Actually, no, April. Yeah, it's coming up in April. A little weekend run, and we want our plans to like really execute the way we want them to, man. So like we want to go on tour, do it big during the summertime, and definitely head up the West Coast, hit up Texas, hit up the Midwest. Definitely want to just do the whole USA for the summertime.
Yeah, new age. You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely like it's like a new age of music. It's 2020. It's like everything ties in, and our album, man, like it's just like the craziest thing. Like hearing so many different styles of music in one, where there's one that's like metal and there's rock song and there's like
it's like alternative on the other side.
Yeah, there's so many different things on it, and I feel like I'm listening to something that's nostalgic at the same time. That's the best thing about it. So it's like new school, but very nostalgic feeling in the end.
Very nice. Do you guys have a anticipated date for the album release yet? Or is that something that's a little bit more confidential you guys don't want to share at the moment?
Man, it's like we have so many songs where I'm possibly even thinking like we could drop an EP and an album. So I might just do like an EP before I even drop the album. I'm just so excited about the album that I keep talking about it. But yeah, you know what I'm trying to say? So, but yeah, I definitely want to drop an EP that I just think those amazing songs that I just didn't make an album, because there's so many that we have written throughout the last 3 years. So it's like, man, yeah, it's time we just put all of those ideas together and execute the right way. I also want to like give myself a chance to perfect these songs the best I could. You know, music changes every single day, so you kind of want to be caught up with the kind of like not necessarily the trends, but like the kind of like what's going on, so you can kind of see like where do you want to go. Yeah, that's the biggest thing with me. But I feel like people can expect things for sure in spring.
Alrighty, so I'm going to say this right now for you guys, and I'll reiterate it probably a little bit later, but when you guys know when your album's going to drop, when you've got everything ready, let me know, because we can work around something where the day the album drops, we'll get you a Song of the Day feature off of that album so that we can get the word out about your new album and we can get more people to listen to it as much as possible. So, because, I mean, hell, when you guys sent me, like, hey, can you listen to Anthem and can you potentially feature? I'm like, okay, listen to it. And they're just me like, yeah, we got to get this shit featured. Let's go.
Let's go.
So
Let's go.
You guys got me excited to listen to this new album and potential also new EP as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Once you guys know, just send me a message, let me know, and we'll get something ready to go for it. And then when it comes to this tour, question about that. Are you guys planning on doing something where you're the headliners and doing a little bit more of like a smaller venue, or are you going to try and hop on with another bigger band and maybe open for them like you had done the past with The Word Alive and Escape the Fate and Ice Nine Kills, and try and, you know, basically open for them and get, and maybe potentially even garner a larger audience off of that?
That's exactly what we're trying. That's basically the reason why we're waiting so much, where it's like, we want to go on our own headlining tour and hit our small venues. I feel like every band needs to get their own stripes out there, one way or another. I know the smartest move that you could actually take, though, is by hopping on a tour where it's like, you know, opening up for Escape the Fate on a couple of days, or doing the whole tour. In the end, it all comes to just having the right resources for that and finances. So that's part of the reason why we're taking our time with releasing this album, releasing the new music, so we can assure ourselves of like going on the road and hitting up, you know, new states and support of a new album. So even things might take a while, this is our chance to really make the right moves and not make the same mistakes that we have made in the past. Because we had done the whole DIY thing, and now we do need to switch it up, man. Go for those bigger moves, you know?
Yeah, make it happen. It's either or. Even like if you could potentially swing it, maybe you could do one part where, you know, maybe you're on your own, and then maybe another part like maybe later on in the year. Either or, flip it up. Either early in the year do your own, and later in the year do one with another band that, you know, you're going to be opening up for, so you can get that larger venue, larger exposure, or vice versa. Start out with opening for a larger band, and then maybe later on in the year focusing on yourself, playing those smaller venues and really earning your stripes that way. On that one, it all depends upon resources and how you guys want to play it off, but that's also something for you guys to decide as a band.
Exactly.
And make sure that everything's shipshape there so that you guys can play the most kick-ass shows possible and continue to jump into the pit and perform and just make people think, holy shit, these guys are fucking crazy.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah,
That's the freaking vibe, bro. That's the freaking vibe. And that's a big thing why I also just think about so much. Like, I want to also bring in like the new scene with me. Like, there's a new wave of bands, like our friends, bands like the worst ones, bands like Varsity, Love and Memory, where they're freaking amazing. And this is like a new age. It's a new generation of music. And it's not only about just opening up for those dream bands. It's now about you becoming that dream band for, you know, the new generation, you know? So it's not always about, just opening up for the other band that's bigger than you. It's about starting your own wave, literally, even if it takes you years to do. And I feel like I want to take a bit of a risk also doing that. You know, it's like a reason why you want to, if you start with a certain rap scene, like let's say you're like, in 2016, that was a whole rap scene where it was like SoundCloud, it was X, Ski Mask, and all these rappers that came out together. And that's exactly how it might be for now rock and metal. And that's like part of the reason. But I'm definitely keeping my doors open for anything that could happen. I've had people from the higher ups in bands, it's like been in contact with Zoume, whether it's Franz or Ronnie, Raki, and like just interested in the band, what we're doing. And that's another thing that I've been so fucking like happy to like, and just realize like, man, there's people out there that were my idols, still are, that are like asking questions about my band. That's like, wow, you know?
That's how you know you really have something that's there that even these people that have made it are looking at you guys saying, holy shit, we love what they've got and we're just going to keep rolling with it. And I hope they keep going with it as well. And I do like what you said where, you're going to, you're always going to want to, play with those bands that you grew up with, that you love and that you really like, are bigger bands today, but you also want to become that band and you're going to want to work with other bands that are planning on becoming that band so that all of a sudden people are going to hear your stuff and be like, oh my God, like, how is this possible?
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden you're going to just, potentially play. All it takes is one show and like one moment to go viral. Yes. All of a sudden everyone's going to be like, yes, oh my God. I mean, take a look at I Prevail. They're a perfect example. When they did the Taylor Swift cover, no one knew who they were. And now this year they had like a Grammy nominated album. So it's just like, okay.
Freaking crazy.
It can happen. It just takes one moment. But you want to put as many moments as you can out there to potentially get that one moment. Exactly,
man. And you said it's so fucking beautiful in that sentence, bro. Like you put it to the perfect way to say it. And like that's exactly what it is, bro. And it is we're taking every chance we have, and like we're just doing what's right in our gut, in our hearts, like, in our minds. That's literally what we're doing from this point on. We're not trying to latch on or dick ride or like do anything crazy, like that.
Well, hopefully when that new album comes out, you get that moment where everyone's like, holy shit. And all of a sudden you have guys like, like Craig Mabin or Ronnie Radke or even like Spencer Charnas listening to your stuff. And all of a sudden you see him post something about it on, Instagram, Facebook, or wherever they might post it. Or you might even have like, because I've seen Ronnie Radke do those reacts to his own videos on, he live streams them on Twitch and then he puts the video on YouTube. I love watching those. Those are freaking hilarious. But all of a sudden he might end up reacting to your guys' stuff. And all of a sudden people are watching it. People love Falling in Reverse and stuff. People love what he did with Escape the Fate. And all of a sudden they're like, okay, we got to go check out Zoume. And then they start listening to that song. They listen to the rest of the album. Next thing you know, they're buying your merch. They're going to your shows and you're just growing the fan base from there.
That's exactly what it is, bro. I feel like you had something to say about that. You had something to say about that?
Yeah, no, that's like the whole vision right there. Like, shit. That's the dream, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's like good to see the bands that you once look up to you, maybe even sometimes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. I love Franz. Franz is like from Attila. He's a person I listened to growing up. And when he hit us up, like he ended up calling me when I was at work for 2 hours. I walked out of my job at Planet Fitness at the time, and I spoke to him on the phone for 2 hours. And like the whole time it was just exchange, like, holy shit, man, like I'm the same way, or like, yo, you remind me so much of myself with Franz. And I feel like in the end, he was like, oh, I love your songs, Xanax. I love your song called Sleep. And he was like, he knew Zoume songs. And like, I feel like more than anything, I was inspired by him in certain moments in my life. And he definitely, I feel like, gravitated towards our music. That was very humbling in general for that.
I mean, when stuff like that happens, you just get this intense wave of inspiration and just, I'm trying to, I would say pride, but I don't think pride necessarily put together, because pride, it's kind of like then you have it and you rest on it, but that's something where it's like you just want to get back to work and keep creating even more stuff. Even just like, okay, I know what we got is good, but now I got to really like keep perfecting that craft and keep going after it, because next thing you know, it's going to be like 3-4 years down the line. All of a sudden I'm going to be here in Milwaukee. I'm going to see that Zoume has a U.S. tour where they're headlining, and I'm gonna be like, holy shit, they're playing at the rave here in Milwaukee.
That's
I'm gonna
be that's a big goal for me.
I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be in the pit for that one. I mean, if you see someone all of a sudden, lose their shoes in the pit or start bleeding, there's a good chance it's probably me.
You're the person that happens to it. Like, you're that guy at the shows. I see. I'm friends with a couple of them from New York City.
I mean, there's shows where I go and I'm just like, I don't even get knocked down. But then there are shows where something really wacky happens to me. It all depends on the show. So I'm getting curious, like, okay, what's gonna happen to me in 2020 now? Because I've got a lot more like with that. I've got a lot more around here. I've got a lot more shows. I've got a couple of Chicago ones. Got a couple of music festival ones. I'm going over to Europe for a couple of shows in September to go and see and hang out with a couple of friends, so I get to see how that whole scene is. And from what I've heard, it's just absolutely even more ridiculous than America, to like just like 3 or 4 times more ridiculous in the most insane mosh pit. So I might not make it out alive, but you know what? That's a risk you got to be willing to take.
I'll pray for you, bro. I'll pray for
No.
you.
Thank you guys. Well,
Living life.
I know you guys kind of have a hard stop, so we will end it right there. But I cannot wait to hear your new album when it comes out. We'll get that feature going for you guys the day that it comes out, so we can get the most exposure off of it. And when you guys start touring, if you guys are playing anywhere around Milwaukee, so if it's Milwaukee, if it's Madison, if it's Chicago, maybe even Minneapolis at times, or anywhere around that kind of a realm, if I see it and I'm able to make it, you better believe my ass is going to be in that mosh pit.
You already know, bro. I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna let you know, and that's just gonna be a wild show. I promise. We give it our all every single performance, bro. Man. Like what makes us different is the performance, Zoume.
That is what I'm hoping for. I mean, that's kind of like when I saw Ice Nine Kills, it was like just the performance that they put on and just the show they put on. I mean, it was like it just amplified the music 3 or 4 times more, and I just couldn't stop listening, and I still haven't. So, I mean, hell, like I said. Donald Duck t-shirt.
Representing, bro.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'll let you get out of here. Get back to doing what you guys do best, making kick-ass music. So thank you, Chris.
And new age. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you,
Giann. Thank you. Well, to the rest of Zoume that couldn't be here.
Oh, yeah, it's Gucci. Yeah. It's Gucci. You know, Zoume's here in spirit.
They're here in spirit.
All the spirits over here. It's in the air.
Well, as long as they're here in spirit, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters, bro. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys, for being on the Chord Progression Podcast. This was an absolute fucking blast. And
love you guys. Diablo gang.
Hopefully, we can get you on again at some point when you guys are, on tour and just having a fucking blast.
We'll do a fucking update interview.
Hell yeah. Let's do it. All right, guys.
Always,
thanks. And as always, rock the motherfucker on.
You already know. Gang.
All right. See ya. Well, guys, that was our interview with Zoume, with Chris and Giann from the band. And I got to say, that was another one of my favorite interviews because we just had one hell of a time. And I am being totally honest with you guys. When they drop that new album, the My Song of the Day, Rock 2000 Today, and Chord Progression podcast listeners will know about it because we will be featuring it on as a Song of the Day feature because, hell yeah, it definitely deserves it. So, as we go in through the rest of the week, well, we got to take a look back at something that happened in the week that was. And there's an album that I really have to talk about with you guys. And it was New Empire Volume 1 by one of my favorite bands ever, the Hollywood Undead. Now, I'm not going to go into the full length review that I have done in the past. And that's just because I really don't feel like it because I'm not going to go song by song. If you want to see the full breakdown of everything, that will be on our Instagram page, and not our Instagram page, on our YouTube channel, so you guys can get ready for that. However, just get ready because we've got a hell of a time for you with New Empire Volume 1. So I'm not going to lie, when I first started listening to them, I was going to be nervous about it no matter what because I know what 5 was like and I really wasn't that big of a fan of 5. And the reason I wasn't a big fan of 5 was because a couple of things that they did. On 5, what I thought they did was they had a couple of great songs like California Dreamin', We Own the Night, Your Life, which really took that Hollywood Undead style that they have and really amped it up. So I was like, you know what? I'm really enjoying this. However, there's songs like Ghost Beach, God, what were some of those songs? I gotta pull it up. And I should have had this pull up, but I just literally had, instead of their whole discography pulled up, I just had New Empire Volume 1. So let's go to 5. So Bad Moon, Ghost Beach, and Nobody's Watching. I couldn't stand those songs. I absolutely couldn't stand them. But then I was like, we'll see what happens. They came out with their Psalms EP, and it was hit or miss. Songs like Bloody Nose, I like what they did on that one, and Gotta Let Go is always going to be a song that's going to be close to my heart. I'm bringing this mic a little bit closer. So going into New Empire Volume 1, I'm a little concerned, and listening to the singles, I mean, Time Bomb was okay. I like the fact that everyone in the band was featured on that track once again. Already Dead, I liked what they did there, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And then the single Empire, I was like, oh dear God, I hope they don't go down this route. So when the album dropped, I ended up started listening to it in the gym. So it took a while for it to download to my iPod because I still use one. But I'm like, okay, I'm in the gym, I'm lifting, I'm listening to this, let's see what happens. And I think I was doing abs or something. And all of a sudden, their second song on the album, because I listened to Time Bomb, and the second song is Heart of a Champion. And now when it comes to what I was hoping from Hollywood Undead, Heart of the Champion, they hit on it. I mean, you've got a hard rapping style from Johnny 3 Tears. Charlie Sheen does one of his hardest rapping styles since, I think like maybe Day of the Dead. And I'm like, oh my God, this is great. Danny's vocals on it are fantastic. So everything I'm like, Heart of a Champion, these guys have it. And I kept listening to him. Like, I even on the Saturday after it came out, so the day after it came out, I was in the gym as well. And I kept playing Heart of the Champion after my standard, I was on Ice 9 Kills in the gym. So I was listening to Standard like over and over and over again. I'm like, oh my God, this is fantastic. I can't get enough of this. This is fun. I'm loving this. Then all of a sudden, we go to a song like Killing It. And I'm like, okay, this is not good. It was so overdone with electronic and auto-tune. I'm like, no. And then Funny Man in the chorus is going, killing it. I'm sitting here thinking, no, please, no, please, God, no. And at this point, I was super nervous because I know what the band had said about the album. I know what Johnny 3 Tears said about the album. He said that he was going to end up, they were going to end up taking their old sound and evolving into something new. So I'm like, okay, so it's going to be like the old sound, but it's going to be something more updated. I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. At points so far, like Time Bomb and Heart of a Champion, hell yeah, I'm into it. All of a sudden, Empire and Killing, I'm like, oh no, this is not going well. Now I've got 4 more songs to go. Oh dear God. Then I heard Enemy for the first time. Hearing, was it J-Dog just yelled, run, motherfucker. I'm like, wait, what? And they went with this metalcore style too. And Enemy is everything I wanted out of Hollywood Undead on this record. Enemy is the quintessential song on this record. I'm like, oh my God, this is one of their top 10 songs of all time. I absolutely love it. Danny's chorus on this one is one of his best choruses of all time. Absolutely love it because he doesn't overdo it, but he hits that high-pitched vocals that he can hit. Not as high pitches like Kellen Quinn or Vic Fuentes. More on that later. But he hits it so well. And that song is so well constructed in the Hollywood Undead style. I absolutely love it. Go to a song like Upside Down. And this song, I like the way it was constructed as well. But the highlight is the artist they have featured on there. And I said, hold on for a little bit because Kellen Quinn was featured on this one. And the track is perfect for Kellen Quinn. When you have Kellen Quinn on there and you're talking about a theme basically of talking about, okay, in your life, you've done things that you regret, but you got to use those things in life to help make you who you are. And you can't shy away from them and you can't wish you can change them. You got to, know that you got to own them and use them to your advantage to become a better person. And especially with what Kellen Quinn went through between Gossip and How It Feels to Be Lost and How It Feels to Be Lost is all written off of. It was perfect to have him included on here. And then all of a sudden you hear his vocals. Danny's vocals are great in the chorus, mind you. However, Kellen Quinn's vocals are the quintessential piece of this. It is perfect. I absolutely love it. Kellen Quinn was the shining light on this song. And oh man, was it perfect. Even a song like Second Chances, they had Benji Madden from Good Charlotte as the feature on this one. And this was a little bit interesting because between what the chorus went through and what the verse went through, the verses were a lot less and the chorus was way, way out there. Like overpowered everything. I'm like, there has to be some kind of a bridge in between there. Benji Madden's pre-chorus definitely provided that. So I do like Second Chances. Then you look at a song like Nightmare as well. And that's what I'm a little bit split on because I could not stand this, like the underlying instrumentation, and Danny's chorus was so weak on this one in comparison to what the rest of the song was about and what the rest of the guys did. I couldn't stand it. I'm like, oh God. However, you take a look at what J-Dog, Charlie Sheen, and Johnny 3 Tears talked about, where they talk about how when they got their fame, how that dream ended up becoming a nightmare at points with some things that are going on in life. And they really went off on that. And they kind of had more of like this ominous, dark, depressing tone in their raps. That really worked out well. I know they're going to try and update the notes from the underground softer style on this one, but honestly, I just don't think it worked out very well. So not too happy about that one, but it is interesting. Overall, New Empire Volume 1, was I disappointed in it? Honestly, absolutely not. There are times where I wasn't too happy with the album, but there are times where they just completely blew me out of the water with songs like Heart of a Champion, Enemy, and Upside Down. And then there's good songs there like Time Bomb, Already Dead, Second Chances, and Nightmares. I'm like, I like them. I don't love them, but I am okay with them. And then there's songs like Empire and Killing, which I just don't want to listen to overall. So do I like the album? Yes, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 overall. You can see the whole synopsis of that I'm going to put out there on our YouTube channel on February 19th. And I'm looking forward to Empire Volume 2. This is one of the better albums I've heard so far this year, so I'm getting into it. However, there was, I got to talk about this other album as well, just real quick, because I won't do an album review on YouTube on it because I didn't even know about it until like a couple days before it came out. But this is going to be exciting. There's this Italian metalcore band called Stain the Canvas. My buddy Chris, who's going to be on the podcast in a couple of weeks, told me, check these guys out and, see what happens. So I end up checking out a couple of singles I had out there and listening to it. And I'm like, I really like what these guys have. I like their sound. And I decided, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let me email them. Let me see if I can get them on the Chord Progression podcast. The day their album came out on Friday the 14th, I get an email from their lead singer saying, oh, I'm sorry about not responding right away. This got lost in our spam folder, which, yes, that does happen a good amount. I get it. It's no big deal. However, he told me, yeah, we want to be on the podcast. I'm like, holy shit. So we're working on that right now. We're working to get that together, but I cannot wait to talk to Stain the Canvas on the podcast. They came out with their God Made Hell, their debut album, on Valentine's Day, February 14th, and I listened to it. And I'm not going to go song by song on this one, but this is what I have to say about it. Right now, they are on my list for best album of 2020. They're on the list. They're on the list of most surprised album for 2020 because I had no clue about this band, no clue about this album. This is their debut. Of course, they're going to be able to be on that list. And my buddy was asking me, he's like, how would you describe their sound? And I'm like, what would you describe? I said, this might be the best way to describe it because they're an Italian metalcore band. I thought of it as if you take a look and take a listen to Bring Me the Horizon's Sempiternal. If you take a listen to that album and basically how the fans love that album and how the sound sounded on that album, they take that sound and make it their own. And I think they're filling the void that Bring Me the Horizon left in that space. And Stain the Canvas out of Italy, my God, these guys are going to be fucking huge. This album is fantastic. It's called God Made Hell. Their song Fear From Nowhere and their song Anima are just fantastic songs. I will be featuring Fear From Nowhere at some point, hopefully in conjunction with Stain the Canvas being on the podcast as well. I'm really looking forward to it and I can't wait. So in the end, guys, if you have a chance, listen to Stain the Canvas's God Made Hell album. You guys will not be disappointed if you're a huge metalcore fan. And get ready because these guys are going to be freaking gigantic. Absolutely love their sound. And I think you guys should have a listen to them. Can't wait to have you guys hear them on the Chord Progression podcast. Hopefully within the next month or so. We'll see what happens. All depends upon scheduling stuff. We're getting that figured out right now, but let's keep going with it. I absolutely love it. But honestly, at this point, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching and listening to this episode of the Chord Progression podcast. Thank you to Chris and Giann of Zoume for being on the podcast as well. You will be hearing from them at some point later in this year as an update to the podcast because, well, I can't wait to hear what they have to say. And yeah. And also, Hollywood Undead, good album. Stain the Canvas, great album. So it's been a good week in music for us. Next week, we will have not one, but 2 episodes for the podcast because we're going to have 2 bands we get to talk to. Yeah! So we're going to have 2 episodes next week. Get ready for that. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast brought to you by My Song Day Rock 2008. And you know how I end all these videos with a big and giant see ya!